Brandon Roy is a part of NCM Associates. Way back in 1945, a successful group of Ford dealerships formed the Dealer Analysis Bureau, holding meetings to discuss dealer operations and share best practices. This group evolved to become the original 20 group by NCM. In the episode, Brandon shares best practices and key takeaways from working alongside some of the best dealerships in the automotive industry. This episode was also recorded live at the ACE conference in Niagara Falls, so it has a slight different format, length, and sound to it. Thanks everybody for tuning in, and enjoy the episode. And you are with NCM Associates. For the dealers who don't know, that you guys started the original 20 group.
Yeah, NCM has a long history in 20 groups and training. The original 20 group, was I think formed in 1947, which are still part of NCM today. So what a lineage across the country that is for NCM to be able to start in 1947 and still continue and grow that today. So I think that's very powerful. Yeah. NCM now with me on board has branched out into the collision world as well. So now we offer training and stuff like that for collision too. So
incredible. And we were just talking before we hit record, your little background for those who don't know who Brandon Roy is. Give me a little insight.
Yeah. So I spent three generations of my family have been involved in collision centers. I'm a licensed collision tech myself. So was brought up through the business, started sweeping floors into management, estimating, painting, you name it. Transitioned out of the business kind of into more of a national consulting role. So now with NCM, we consult dealerships on anything dealership and then almost anything collision center based too. So yeah, a whole gambit of training, moderation, and 20 groups is available with NCM.
Incredible. That's exciting. I know a lot of dealer groups have collision centers, and that's actually, in the U.S., seems like a growing strategy as well to acquire more rooftops that way.
Yes, man, there's definitely been some money pumped into the collision industry. A lot of times dealerships or in general, people think collision is like not a great thing to have attached to your business, right? Dirty, hard to find people and stuff like that, but it can absolutely be great for fixed absorption and actually generate you revenue for sure.
Yeah, fantastic. And sorry, how long have you been with NCM?
I've been with NCM for about 6 months now.
Okay.
So kind of the newest guy on the block, but basically the biggest talker, as you can tell.
No worries. That's why you're on the podcast. That's fantastic. Let's talk 20 groups. What makes a really successful 20 group?
Honestly, it's about the pre-work and setup. So we have a proprietary composite from NCM. We use that to gain all of our data and then use that data to drive the decisions that mean and matter. So that's generally what we do. We use math and data to drive the decision-making in your dealerships.
Right. And what KPIs are you guys looking at?
We have a whole book of hundreds of KPIs. The biggest KPI we really look at nowadays is net to gross. So if you're producing gross profit, how much of that gross profit can you retain and turn into net profit? That's one of the biggest KPIs we follow and teach people how to monitor and diagnose those.
Right. And what's an example? Like how can dealers, is there an option that comes to mind real quick?
So if you were below net to gross, that's when you would get NCM or a company to come in and provide that training. A lot of the times, making money is a side effect. If you take care of yourself, your employees, your community, your customers, making money will happen. It's a side effect of doing all those things correctly. And that's really what we try to portray at NCM is look at the data, define the data, purify it, and then make decisions.
Right. I love it. When I first heard about 20 groups, this is a long time ago, I had this idea of what they would be like. But now talking to you and all the dealers that we have in our business book of business, it's so much more in depth than just a group.
Absolutely.
Data, the culture that they foster, the relationships, it's a really big powerhouse and advantage to dealers.
To have a great moderator and to have great data is one thing, but it's the community of the group that really is the information powerhouse. Because we have some information, yes, but the information that everybody has that's on the front lines nowadays is so powerful to learn from each other and share within that group.
Yeah, it's so important. And we've actually taken some things from the 20 group model into our own business group. I'm in a men's group as well. And
Nice.
We're all, software, business, brick and mortar. So taking those aspects of data, we have a moderator now and kind of built a little version of ourselves. So it's really cool to see.
I like it, yeah.
There's so much value in what you guys
And
do.
I think it changes over the years too. Like before, it was kind of just looking at data. Now the moderators will hold your feet to the fire.
Yes.
If you're in a 20 group, you better be willing to face the bitter truth of the problems at your dealership and be willing to adapt to change.
What characteristics, let's say, makes up a person that is not fit for a 20 group?
Someone with a closed mind, or somebody with the mentality of, this is the way we've always done it and it works okay, and we don't really see the value in change.
Is that common? Is that like...
I think you're seeing a different trend nowadays with the ease of access of information and information exchange, the speed.
What challenges are you guys facing right now with maybe it's even selling your own product? Like, is there a challenge right now with the changing market?
I think the market's going to continue to change all the time. I believe NCM is definitely on the forefront of that. We continue to learn every day. We continue to change our style of teaching to get more engagement back. Yeah, I definitely think that's the way it's going to be going, is continuing to be part of a group. And just people want to be part of something nowadays. People want to be partnered with people that make social impact, that make good decisions and help you foster and grow your company.
Right. I think that's important. What kind of training do you guys provide to your moderators as far as like the industry experience they have?
NCM is very selective in their process.
I figured.
Yes, very selective. You have to have a proven history of success, and then also be able to carry yourself and be able to be comfortable speaking and comfortable presenting across the country to multitudes of diverse people and diverse groups.
There'd be a lot of pressure for those moderators to perform at the highest level.
A lot of pressure, because if we say something wrong or make a bad decision per se, and someone puts that into practice, we can cost somebody lots of money. We can also help you make lots of money too, but it is a very fine line that we have to walk on sometimes.
Right, and we play that on a level as well in the advertising world, right? Because we can create these new campaigns that we think are just going to slap, and then all of a sudden they eat shit. So
yeah,
it's a scientific kind of experiment a lot of the times.
It's consistent. It's always evolving.
Yes.
Look, as an instructor and consultant at NCM, we're either learning or delivering content. We are consistently studying new content, staying up to ahead of the curve every day.
Okay, let's talk about that. How are you guys adapting to AI and new technologies?
Taking it slow, actually, making sure that we already have the fundamentals in place. Because if you don't have the fundamentals, the people and the processes in place, AI can enhance that.
Yep.
But at NCM, we firmly believe of developing a solid foundation first, then just using AI to enhance your offering.
Good answer. I love that. A lot of people are jumping into these things without having the foundation set up and seeing like, what's the business going to look like after this is implemented? They kind of have this blinder on. They're like, yeah, let's...
Agreed. It's like anybody can plug and play a number nowadays, but how is that number derived? How did we get there? And then how do we make use of that data? I think we need to get that built first before we use AI to help.
Right. Yeah. No, I love it. What's your favorite part about the 20 groups and what you do?
Development of people is our mojo at NCM. I could say it's mine, but it's like basically everybody's an NCM. It's traveling North America and seeing the development and the change in those businesses where people are coming back to us and say, you've changed my personal and business life from being a part of NCM. That's what really gets us. That's what really drives us.
That's got to be addicting.
It is very, yeah. Yeah.
Before we got on the conversation or on the podcast, we were talking about books, and we were talking about Never Split the Difference, Chris Voss, right, sales book. And you said you've read a few others. So what's your book stack, we'll call it, that has pumped some awesome skills your way?
I do like Crucial Conversations. That was a book too. Again, I find I'm a millennial myself, so I find the newer generation will lead to technology a little bit more than that face-to-face communication. And dealing with those difficult situations and having the right language to be able to navigate that personal landscape, that book really taught me a lot. And I took that knowledge with me from my previous role into NCM. That was really good. Crucial Conversations. Another one is the 5 levels of leadership and how that pertains that every person you kind of come in contact with in your business, you actually are at a different level of leadership with those. I really found that book taught me how to split up my leadership style into the different diverse roles I had in my business.
I love that. How has your leadership style changed over time?
It's more individual based now, but towards a common goal. Before, my leadership style was rah, 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 get the whole team to charge the hill kind of thing. Now I spend a lot more time individually motivating them towards the common goal. So I think there's a little bit of a shift that way.
I love that. A gentleman I live by and look up to a ton, Dan Martell, Buy Back Your Time, big software guy. Dan always says, build the team and they'll build the business, 100%. Not hire to build the business.
Yep.
Right. And I think that's exactly what you just said.
Yeah.
People first, and they'll run it with it.
People produce the results that make the money. So, yeah. Another good one is eat that frog, believe it or not. And it's about time management. Time, I think, is one of those valuable resources, especially to customers nowadays, is how do you plan your MIT, your most important task during the day? I try to coach a lot of people at NCM by, hey, if you show up at morning in the work, don't jump right into your email at 8 a.m. because you're working on everybody else's most important task. Spend an hour, do your most important task, then jump into your email. So that book taught me a lot about how to prioritize my time management.
Amazing. I want to add a little shout out to a tool, actually. We're in no way affiliated with them.
Sure.
Motion has transformed our productivity. It basically is an AI scheduler where you can put in all your tasks, prioritize them when their due dates are by.
Cool.
And if you miss a task, it'll just reshuffle your day. So it puts the frogs first, the big needle movers, and you get those done. And then your check emails, instead of 10 a.m., it could be 2 p.m. because it really doesn't matter. You get way more done.
Agreed.
Biggest game changer in my personal life anyways.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Any tools on your radar that you love using?
Tools would be like our composite at NCM. We have like a proprietary benchmark. That is one of the tools we use to gauge performance and get people to that mark. Now, the benchmark isn't like world class. Benchmark is a B+ average. We got to get you there first, build the foundation, set the floor, then look at the pinnacle for advancement.
Do you think that helps dealers create clarity around the actual mission and end goal?
Absolutely. It gives them a target, it gives them a goal, and it gives something to take back to the dealerships that's tangible so they can have good, clean meetings and conversations to start driving the change that moves those numbers.
So important. I mean, even in our own company, we're like thinking big and making these radical predictions and like trying to build a plan to get there. But I think we learned over the last year, especially, is if we just slow down and create very, very clear targets, focus on those two things, we make way more progress in the future.
Yeah. What do they say? Like the 6 Ps? Prior planning and preparation prevent poor performance.
Say that 10 times fast.
Yeah.
Break that down one more time.
The 6 Ps. So prior planning and preparation prevent poor performance.
I'm not going to repeat that, but I'll take your word for it. But I love it. I love it. Absolutely. How have you seen, maybe we covered this, how have you seen the NCM Associates and 20 groups change over the last several years?
Again, I've only been there for 6 months with NCM. However, I was part of a few 20 groups like that. It's becoming more of a culture shift in a 20 group. Again, it's not like we lead with data, but it's about the groups and relationships that you form. What we really see nowadays is when we get a group together, whether that be on the instruction side or the moderating side, is we're forming bonds with these people. These people are like checking in on each other now day to day almost.
Amazing.
That's where the power is. That's what we really feel that the shift in the industry is going to go to is, right, continuing people helping people.
What's your intake process for dealers who are not in 20 groups?
We would go through the sales. So you'd go through our sales team first. We'd show you kind of what products would work, kind of talk to you though and get a history of what are you looking to accomplish by being part of this.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you guys use a lot of like Colby A index, like personality tests to see what groups and teams would work good together?
No, they're not generally. No, we do use a lot of like the disc theory kind of thing.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So like we do use the disc stuff like that, but that wouldn't generally get you in or not in a group kind of thing. So, but yeah, we definitely gravitate towards the disc theory.
Awesome. Well, I love that because it just shows your attention to detail and how you structure groups to best perform and
absolutely
succeed.
Speaking of the disc theory, I think you're seeing a change with that nowadays too, where I've been in a few business where I thought it was a great idea is they take their employees through the disc theory, they get their personality traits, then they put the color of what their disc is near their name or by their name on their door. So the whole dealership, you might have an orange tag, I might have a pink one, you might have a purple one, but that's our personality style. I thought that was really, really engaging for a newer generation is to prominently display what your style is, and then you could better deal with people knowing that.
Right, and they're pretty accurate. Like I think they are. I've done a few tests and I'm like, I didn't think I was extroverted. And then when I read into it, I'm like, definitely am. This makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, like I can tell you're probably a promoter personality, same as me.
Right, yeah. Right. Yeah, love talking, building relationships, and growing. It's exciting. Anything else you want to mention about NCM?
I just think NCM continues to evolve and diversify every day. Now we're expanding into the collision kind of side of the business and continuing to grow and learn new techniques to put to practice on the dealer side as well. So
amazing.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for your time. I really
no problem.
appreciate
Glad
it.
to be here.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Brandon.
Thank you.
I hope you found some value in this conversation, just like I did. And we're excited to continue to bring interviews and conversations with dealership legends, maybe just like yourself. Thanks again for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time. I'm your host, Braden Gingrich from Dealer Surge.